A good vach, everybody. You know, they say in Maisa that there was once a yid that came, mamish, panic-stricken and completely tzibrochen to a particular Rav of his town, and he knocked on the door frantically. So the Rav opens, like, "What's the problem?" He says, "Rabbi, I don't know what to do. I need a tikkun. You need to help me out." I said, "Well, what's the problem?" So the problem is like this. You know, he said that this past Shabbos, I was away for Shabbos, and I was traveling to a neighboring village for Shabbos. And I'll tell you the truth, maybe it was my fault. I got a late start Friday afternoon, but there was, the weather wasn't good and traffic or whatever. I got stuck on the road in my horse and wagon driving on Shabbos. And I broke Shabbos for the first time in my life. I was stuck in a position where I felt it was too dangerous to just stop in the middle of the woods, and I had no choice but to move on, continue riding. But I felt like I broke Shabbos. And Rebbe, what do I do? How do I fix myself? And the Rav looked at it, and the Rav said, I'll tell you the truth, it's a big problem. It's desecrating Shabbos, even though you were in a position where you had no choice, because it was your life would be in danger if you just like pulled off and spent Shabbos in the woods like that. But to put yourself in a position like that, it's a serious thing, and I think that you should begin to fast Monday and Thursday and say the Sefer Tehillim every day, and commit yourself to learn more, like a whole regimen. The guy's listening to this and he's thinking to himself, okay, it's a little, maybe a second opinion, we could be helpful. So he says, thank you very much. Okay. Meanwhile, this person is looking for a second opinion, and a week or two later, he finds himself in the audience by the Baal Shem. And so he goes to Baal Shem Tov, and he doesn't tell him that, that he had this whole regimen from the Rav, but he just tells him the story. He said that, a couple of weeks ago, I was stuck on the road before Shabbos, and it was my fault, and I feel terrible, and what could I do to fix my neshama? And Baal Shem Tov looks at it, and Baal Shem Tov says, Shabbos is a very serious thing. That's a very serious affair of being able, of having to drive on Shabbos. It's a very serious thing. And the guy's thinking to himself, oh, now he's going to have to say to him twice, what's he going to... So Baal Shem Tov says, but maybe there's an eitzah, maybe this Shabbos, you could donate the candles for the shul of Shabbos. And the guy's like, and? Baal Shem Tov said, okay, if you do that, it'll be okay. So the guy's like, okay, that's great, fine, it's a done deal. He goes home and he tells the guy of the shul, this week the candles are on me. Okay, fine, how much money is it? A few dollars, whatever it is. And that's what happened. Now meanwhile, the Baal Shem Tov says before he leaves, Baal Shem Tov says, and do me a favor, when you go home, tell your Rav that I want him to be my personal guest this Shabbos. He should come to me with the Shabbos. It's gewaldig. First of all, the Rav is happy because he's invited for the Baal Shem Tov. It's beautiful. So that's what happens. So the Rav gets into the horse and wagon on Friday. And you know what happens? All of a sudden the weather turns and there's traffic and the Rav is stuck on the road. And he also has no choice but to drive because it's dangerous to be in the woods on Shabbos. But when he comes to the Baal Shem Tov Friday night, after already late, he's like mamish, ice man. He's beside himself. The first time in his life to break Shabbos like that. So he comes to the Baal Shem Tov. He says, Rabbi, what am I going to do? I broke Shabbos. I can't sleep. I can't face myself. So Baal Shem Tov turned to him. Baal Shem Tov said, I caused you to break Shabbos. I created the weather. I put the traffic there. He said, why? He said, because when that Yid came to you a few weeks ago, complaining and bemoaning the fact that he broke Shabbos, you never tasted the bitterness and the guilt that Jew was feeling over the fact that he broke Shabbos. So to you have to give him this big avodah, davening, tehillim, mikvahs, and fasting, a whole thing. But if you appreciated what he was going through in his own mind, the guilt that he was feeling, then you would have realized the guilt itself that he was feeling wiped away 4/5 of the Aveira. And all that was left is a little inyan that he has to be masakin. So I told him just to buy candles, and that would be enough. The truth is, said the Baal Shem Tov, even that wasn't really necessary. But you give him something to make him feel like he's doing something. Okay. But he said, but I needed you going forward, when a Yid comes to you, complaining about their tzaras and averas that they've done, they want to do tshuva, you have to bear in mind the guilt that they already feel. And the guilt that they feel and the tzibrochen that they have, it's wiping away most of the avera itself. And what your job is to get them over that hump, that final hump. That's the avodah. The Gemara says, Chazal say that that even Paisha Yisrael, even sinners of the Jewish people, they're full of regret. They're full of regret. And we have to embrace that and realize and appreciate that when we feel regret over the mistakes that we've made, we should be proud of that regret and embrace those feelings and say, you know what? And because I feel bad about it, I'm going to be able to go weiter and I'm going to take upon myself what I can do to fix those mistakes, but realize that the very fact that I feel bad about it is already 3/4 of the job. And now it's just a matter of pushing weiter, of finishing the fixing and correcting the future of my life. Hashem should help us. This should be a week of tikkun, of fixing, of going weiter, of overcoming obstacles with emunas chachamim, with emunas tzadikim, with Torah, avoda, bitachon. Hashem should bless us. It should be a lichte gevach, a blessed gevach, a gula gevach, ad b'lidai.